Boom.
Hey guys, Brian and Jeff with WorkshopAddict.com, and we needed a new grease gun for the shop, and we found a kit on Summit Racing that included a little bit more than a grease gun.
And this one's a lot smaller than the ones that we have around the shop. We've got battery operated ones, and they just take up a lot of room when we want to go on the road.
It's easy to just take this thing off the wall. Now, I hate to admit this, but my last manual grease gun storage was
on the floor.
Back corner of the shop.
And you guys know what happens in the summer when it gets hot, they start leaking and you got grease on the floor. And
this wall mount was worth the whole price of the kit to me.
Exactly.
So you get a wall mount that comes with the manual grease gun, and then you also get a bearing packer, which I've never used before.
I've always done it the old-fashioned way.
My dad yelled at me over and over that I never did it right, and eventually I got it. But back then we used to pack a lot more bearings. We used to take apart the snowmobile trailer yearly and just pack bearings, pack bearings. You don't
back
see
then our dad used to yell at us more too.
He didn't hold the flashlight in the right spot. There's all kinds of that stuff.
That's all the way you're learning.
So what we're gonna do here is just go through this stuff. If you know how to pack bearings, you don't need this kit. Although if you pack bearings a lot, maybe this would be a little bit more nice because you're not consistently just scraping your hands all the time.
And using this more often is going to make things a lot easier, because if you use it once a year, it does get full of grease. It makes a mess. If you're using it constantly, it's not going to be so bad.
One more thing, if you do a lot of greasing like we do, side-by-sides, we got trailers, multiple different things, upgrade trucks, all that stuff needed. We use different greases for different things. So we kind of keep one grease in one gun and move on. So in this case, this is probably gonna be a quick side-by-side grease. We're gonna put that in there. We'll grease up the side-by-sides, but if you don't think that you should do that, I would.
Get one multi-purpose grease that works for everything. Granted, we've got different applications that we're using different grease in, but you don't have to.
No, by no means.
One grease like this right here will do everything.
But one grease like this right here is 3 times the cost of this guy.
Yes.
So sometimes that's why we do it. But either way, let's get into this. This wall mount is made by Grease Gun Caddy, and it's made in Canada. And you can go to their website at greaseguncaddy.com. It's plastic, holds up with 4 Phillips screws. But I think that's the beauty of it. If there's any grease that's gonna drip, it's gonna catch it, it's gonna be nice and clean, easy to get to your grease gun. I really, really like this part of the whole kit. Now this kit's around 35 bucks, so you get the grease gun and everything else with it, but the grease gun comes with a solid hose and a tip, and also a flexible hose and a tip.
Which for that price, it's a good deal, but I would spend a couple bucks and get a longer hose. Just makes it a little easier to get in tight spaces.
Very true. And with that said, it's not an overly expensive grease gun, but the tips seem to work well.
Yeah, that's usually your biggest problem with a grease gun, is the tips are bad. They didn't want to let go. They didn't.
So that's good. Everything on this so far has been great. You can get this in 2 different colors if you really wanted to have different colors for different greases. With that said, the pistol grip is there. Our other shop grease gun that we had that wore out had the same type of pistol grip. You've talked about a Lincoln that you used that you thought was just the opposite.
Yeah, I thought the handle was rigid and you pump whatever. But
grease from the back, either way, it works very smooth. Yeah, for the cost of this kit, the grease gun is actually great for what we're using. The bearing packer to me is something that I'm interested in, but also scared of.
Don't be scared of it. It's not going to hurt you.
It's not going to hurt me, but
I personally would rather do it the old-fashioned way. But you guys that you might enjoy it, you just take your comb, put your bearing on it, and you grab the top, screw it on, and your bearing will somewhat center itself on there. Get it lined up, tighten it down, and then you just force the grease through it.
All right, put some grease through it. There's a cavity in the middle that's obviously has to fill up, and I can feel the tension there. Oh, slow down. There we go. We got grease coming through.
As simple as that.
Clean up. This is actually what scares me more than the actual bearing greasing. Now, when I used to hand pack these with my dad, we always had to have the grease coming out the rollers. Because if you didn't have grease coming out the rollers, you didn't do it right. But I can see how that one's completely packed.
Right, because you're gonna throw grease in your race, throw your bearing in, and then you're gonna have grease on your bearing. So
That actually isn't bad. I mean, we can wipe this up. There wasn't a whole lot wasted other than what's in the center there.
for as much as you're gonna use this,
Yeah.
screw it back together, throw it in a Ziploc bag, keep the dust off it, and the next time your grease is already there.
That's a good idea. So we're going to put a link in the description for this kit. Overall, I think it was a great buy. It's going to give us a place to throw not only the grease gun on the wall, but also give us something to screw around with if we ever want to pack some bearings up. And it gives us a small grease gun that we can use on the road. So we appreciate you sticking around. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe to our channel. Have a great day.